We're here to translate what's essentially happening within the AI space into what actually matters for heartland entrepreneurs, because the AI space is moving at the AI speed. And today we're talking about Manus and this idea of vibe coding, which you guys probably know by now. I'm obsessed with. I'm obsessed with vibe coding. I've been vibe coding literally for 2 years when you think about what vibe coding is, and breaking it down to you so that you know why this matters and what I think is basically this quiet change on who really gets to know start to build software, especially in our space, the wellness space. So grab your cup of whatever's keeping you grounded and let's dive in. So Manus is part of a new wave of AI tools. And I heard about Manus in a workshop that I was part of an AI like summit. And there was one of the guest speakers talked about it, and it really intrigued me and his reasoning for wanting to build with it. And I was mostly listening to a couple people using this AI tool, but more intriguingly for me, what caught my eyes that they were using it to essentially transcribe videos really for free. And so I started to play with it. Soon after that happened, and this is what I mean when I'm saying that AI is moving at AI space, is that Manus, they joined forces with Meta. And if you don't know who Meta is, Meta pretty much runs the world for social media. They own Facebook, they own Instagram, they own Threads. So they're in a lot. And essentially, Manus is now part of Meta. And so I found that intriguing because my husband had bought me a pair of those Meta glasses, and I haven't really gotten into the habit of taking a picture or a video with the camera that's built into the sunglasses. And then you can literally with a voice say, "Hey Meta," and you can command it to upload it to your Instagram stories, upload it to your Facebook stories. Like, it's crazy. And so that's where it's heading, though. That is where the world is heading. And Meta has jumped on the wagon with really pushing themselves out into the world by joining forces with Meta. So in plain language, this essentially helps generate the logic and structure for the coding behind vibe coding. So instead of needing to know specific code, which if you think like the Matrix, those just a lot of numbers and words and symbols across your screen, that is how people had to build things, from websites to all the apps and everything that we loved about the internet before AI. And so now you can literally explain an idea, a function, a need, a desire, and AI helps you essentially assemble the pieces using vibe coding. And it really allowed the barrier to be lowered for us, heart-led entrepreneurs, the non-techie people, dramatically. Like night and day, you can essentially be a toddler, and like a toddler in terms of your techie skills, and literally build out a website, an app. Like, the limitations are limited by your imagination. And so I always tell you, this is the time to go back and be that child that believed that anything was possible, that cars could fly and there was unicorns and mermaids in the world, because that will help you when you start to look into vibe coding and figuring it out how it fits for you, not what you can do. I don't expect people here to be building out stuff to necessarily make money, but I do expect you to think about it from terms of how is this going to help you in your business right now? And that's really the real takeaway and the headline that we're focusing on today. There's a lot of other stuff happening, I realize, but the purpose of this series is to not overwhelm you and really hone you guys in on what really matters. So when you hear the word vibe coding, it is not like sloppy coding. It is not like some baby steps. It is full on intention first building. You really need to have clarity what you are trying to build for this to really be as magical as it's meant to be. And instead of starting with a syntax and structure, words that you probably don't even know what they mean, which is what real developers are using and what they've had to use, you are starting with outcome and then energy. You describe the tool. So, say you wanted to describe something that's keeping you inside your business that you wish, like, gosh, I wish somebody could just give me the easy answer to this. That is the problem that we're trying to solve. And what would that help you with? So, for us, I've decided that we are going to create. So, what's the one thing that I hear all heart led entrepreneurs struggle? Pricing. And so this is how I would describe this tool. I want a pricing calculator for wellness entrepreneurs that factors in energy, hours, expenses, and desired income. And so when I tell artificial intelligence to translate that into a working logic, now it has the ingredients to basically now be the chef in the kitchen. And it will lead with my overall vision, and now it will help support my vision by giving it structure. And that's the shift that we need to focus on. Now, for those of you who don't know, I am Anna Connie Walters. I am the founder and CEO of EmpowerHER Wave, a business that I built after building 2 other wellness service-based businesses and really seeing the struggle that a lot of other heart-led women wellness entrepreneurs are suffering from, which is the verge of burnout. Now, if you don't know my backstory, I'm a nurse turned entrepreneur, a military spouse, and I burnt out in my 20s because I was a workaholic. And it is not pretty, but it's not clear on the other side. I do not believe in hustle culture. I do not believe that harder is necessarily smarter, or that's what the price that you have to pay for success. I believe that you can have both your cake and your coffee or cookie or cupcake and have them too, without it costing your life. I was diagnosed with 2 heart conditions at 25. I know what I'm talking about. And my mission is to keep people from burning out and losing their passion for what they do, because of all the times in the world, we need y'all. We need heart-led women, wellness entrepreneurs out in the world spreading their magic, their healing, their love, their kindness out to the world. And I'm here to really help you guys, like, own it in. I am just flooded with being surrounded by women like my girl, Sierra, basically on the verge of burnout from being tired and exhausted of doing everything manually. This right here, vibe coding, AI in real time, is changing the game. If you're like one of my other students who has ideas, and she knows who I'm talking about, but then freezes at moving forward with those ideas because of tech, because of strategy, because of all of this, because that feels safe to draw back and not move forward, vibe coding could be the solution to breaking free from that hamster wheel. It means that you don't have to be a developer and spend thousands of dollars to create something that really could help you in your business and support you and your clients. You just need clarity. You don't need credentials. You don't need to go take some crazy certification program. And that to me is huge, which is why I chose that as our focus point for today. So I was scrolling, doing my star tasks, as my coach calls them, and came across a post that Manus put on Instagram where they gave the example of this new feature that they've just basically launched with essentially agents and their big powerhouse vibe coding feature, which is going to be very similar to ChatGPT's launch feature of Codex and Claude's now new like agent mode. And so this is kind of like their version of trying to be in that mix. And essentially what it was showing was an example of a pricing calculator as an app idea, because it's saying that we can now code apps and websites and things like that. And that's where like this light bulb moment happened, because pricing is one of the biggest nervous system triggers for wellness entrepreneurs. A lot of us have money blocks. massive ones that we still deal with. We want to be martyrs and like the Mother Teresa's, and we are very quick to be like, it's okay. I'll give this to you for free, or you can have it, or you don't have to pay me. We undercharge, we second guess ourselves. Then we copy someone else's numbers and it doesn't feel good inside. And then we don't feel happy with what we're doing. And then we internalize it and then we stress. And then that leads to burnout. You see the cycle here? But what if you could build a calculator that factors in all of that? Like the things that the coaches don't tell you. It will factor in your monthly expenses or your desired income. Because sometimes, what do I tell my students? The best way to build is to think of the end outcome and build backwards. That's how most genius people build anything, from scripts to movies to like actual businesses. What what's your capacity? I have a 3-year-old. I am 45. I stay at home with my 3-year-old. We have no daycare. We just moved from living overseas in Japan for 7 years. I am trying to adjust to being back in the United States and trying to run 3 businesses, restart all of them because I had to basically, I'm at the bottom, I'm starting from scratch. That's my capacity. That's the reality. It is not what it was when I was in Japan, which was very dedicated workspace, dedicated work time, dedicated and reliable daycare. Where are you in that energy availability? What what do you want for your taxes? What time is it going to take you per client? And then it splits out a very sustainable pricing that sits good with you, or that you can start to like tweak or start with as a beta launch and then scale from there as you start to build momentum and you start to build case studies. And it's, and the structure, the idea is, what do they say when we like beta tested and now it's like, okay, this is something that people want and now it's time to like go for it. And that's not tech hype. Like, that is empowerment. That is what vibe coding is bringing to the table. And there is room for us. I am making this space and I am building my own table for us to be able to sit at these tables and take advantage of this tech. So if you're like, what does this all mean, Ankani? The real thing that you need to be taking away isn't that AI can now write code for you. It is the distance of realization between your ideation and how long it's now going to take you to implement. And that gap is shrinking, which means that other people are going to start to notice this. Then that means that your competition may start to take advantage of this. And if you are not willing and brave enough to step into the space, you're going to get left behind and you're going to bring yourself out. Before, if you had some type of idea for an app or a really cool website, you had to figure out the idea. Then you had to hire a developer, which cost thousands and thousands of dollars. It took months and months to do. And you ended up with something that, you may or may not like because you then had to validate it. And then like that cost money and marketing and stuff. And that's how a lot of businesses like went broke. Now you have the idea, you describe it to AI, AI helps you refine it, you test it with people for free. It's so much faster. It's so much interactive. I just built the most amazing app the other day, literally from inspiration from somebody else who was putting something. I was completely blown away at the capability of this platform because I used it and I had no idea that it was having that ability to do this specific task. But I went ahead and tested it out for myself. I went ahead, I created the idea, I voice dumped like everything that I wanted this app to have. Then I took it into this platform. It built out the entire thing. I've been using it. I have 6 beta testers right now that I just put out a blast on my social media. Was like, hey, I built this new app. It's fire. I need some people to validate, to test it out, see how it works for other people, not just me. I need to make sure that I'm not getting amazing results and that it's something that everybody can. Are you interested? Let me know. And so within 24 hours, I had my beta testers. So they're in the app, they're testing it, and it really isn't costing me anything. I'm just sitting back and potentially like printing out money. So you need to pay attention. This isn't about being rich. It is about having the abundance that I want to have to make a real change in the world. I want to be able to pay for senior citizens groceries at the grocery store. I want to be able to give people who are homeless more than just leftovers or, a word of encouragement or $5. I want to make some change, and I can't do that being broke. I need to be able to pay for my stuff. Abundance to me is not just monetary, it is also physical. Being from a 25-year-old who burnt out to now a 45-year-old, an age that I never thought I would see, I am super mindful about my stress level, and I want the ability to invest in myself and getting massages and getting, pedicures, getting, acupressure, getting therapy, getting all the things that cost money. And I know that you do too. So I just want to bring it down. Sometimes I feel like I realize you guys. But I want to make sure that I don't romanticize this magical idea for you. Vibe coding without clarity will create chaos. It will make you want to feel like pulling your hair out. There's so many people that I see out there that think that it doesn't work because they struggle with it. But why do they struggle with it? Because they don't have clarity. I have built some of the most amazing apps I have ever thought were possible because I was clear on what I wanted it to be. I was clear on the customer journey I wanted it to be able to create. And if your brand is unclear, if your messaging is super scattered, you don't know how to explain in two simple sentences who you are, what you do, and who you serve, if your audience is not defined or you're trying to serve everybody, no amount of vibe coding is going to help you create something that people are either going to want and that you're going to be happy with, or you're going to be so stressed about not getting what you are thinking here in between, the 6 inches between your ears. I don't want you to waste time on things that are not going to be actual helpful. They're going to put more work on you. Or if you're trying to do it for actual revenue to build money to sustain yourself, your business, whatever, your family, it's not going to help. You're going to build things that are not going to convert, that people are not going to want, or you're not going to use. So, as a quick note, I offer a 90-minute clarity catalyst call. And essentially is an ability for me to really zoom back as a third party who loves you and wants to see you succeed, and really start to see where you are leaking energy, money, and where you're leaking time in your systems, in your business, in your life, and really helping you zone in on what you really should be focusing on at this season in your life so that you can really excel and propel and make some money and be happy with your life and be happy with what you do as a job, your work, your mission, your magic that you're trying to spread out into the world. Tech amplifies clarity, and it also amplifies confusion. So the foundations really still matter here with your business. If they're doing this from a business perspective, that matters a lot. And so if you don't start with the right foundations, you are going to be probably telling me, oh, God, this sucked. It didn't work for me because you're not listening to this. I need you to really listen to me, because awareness is power. And if you fall into any of that, you struggle to talk to people about what you do. You're trying to serve everybody, or you have no idea of who your actual clients are, and there's specific things that will really help you with marketing, or you really don't know what you want to do for business. You just have a general idea of you want to make money. Those things are not going to serve you. But if you are in a space where you have all of those things checked, Manus is an amazing opportunity. There's so many other vibe codings, but I'm really trying to be conscious to not give you everything. So what I really appreciated about Manus's example is the focus on the functionality of this app idea. Now, it didn't give me this, it just gave you a very general, and you could even go in, they gave you a whole list of all the things that you could do. I was like, ooh, before thinking about its aesthetics and the branding and making it pretty, I always think about the foundations. I start with the apps, and then when the time I'm done, it's gorgeous, it's beautiful, it's functional. That's the purpose. And so I start with, how can I make something to solve a real problem? Most of the things that I created to help me in a problem that I am struggling with. And then it just so happens, because I am my own ICA, it ends up attracting and resonating with the people that I'm trying to serve, because I am essentially them. I am a women wellness entrepreneur. I teach yoga. I teach stand-up paddleboarding. I teach baby and toddler and yoga. I do all the things. I'm a crafter. And so it's just natural for me to start with myself first. If that's the type of business setup you have, then you are golden, because then you just need to think about, what about you would you love to have something that just takes care of it. And that's how you build useful AI projects, and not just stuff that's just going to be like another PDF. It's going to just collect dust. Nobody's going to use it, and neither are you. So if you are a woman wellness entrepreneur, and really just a heart led entrepreneur for that matter, ask yourself, what tool would make my clients' lives easier, or what would make my life easier as an entrepreneur? It could be a nervous system check in tracker. It could be a postpartum recovery timeline, so that they know they could just put in where they are, how many weeks, and like what's to be expected, what's not. I created a burnout calculator, like a burnout risk calculator, because I don't think people realize how close they are to burnout. I was like, you know what? I wish I would have had this app and then build it out for my people. I also thought about, what if there was an app that gave me what I should be charging for things like services, yoga classes, stand-up paddleboard classes, based on all the things, the location, who I'm trying to serve, the day of the week, the length of the class, all of the stuff. Guess what? Vibe Coding lets you prototype these ideas without waiting for permission. You can get people, friends, people that you trust, to test it out for free. And boom, you validate it, and then you put it on the market, and that's how you make money. Easy peasy. I want you to take your possibility scar off, because that's what you should have had when you first started watching this. And I want you to now put on your possibility crown, okay? And become the CEO that I know that you're meant to be. And you know, my motto in Empower Her Wave is, we are not wave makers. We are the wave. I just noticed some like blocking the slides. My bad, you guys. And I want you to put that CEO crown on and ask yourself, not, what can I code? That is not the question that you should be asking yourself by now. The question that you should be asking, that CEO crown that you should be wearing, is, what tool would move my community forward right now? Because if you can describe it clearly, my friend, my beautiful, beautiful heart-led friend, guess what? You can create it. No joke. Clean takeaways that I need you to take away from today. Vibe coding is lowering the barrier to building amazing, magical things in the world. Clarity matters more than coding skills. And coding skills is not the ability to read and do like engineer stuff. Coding is now your ability to describe what you want, and very great prompting, which is very different from the type of prompting that you've been used to, having to learn to create images and good copy and all of that stuff. Wellness entrepreneurs can create real tools right now. AI is not replacing your voice. It is extending it. It is magnifying it. It is helping you spread your magic. And this, my friend, is only the beginning. I don't want you to fall behind. I'm making room for you on the table, and I'm empowering you to truly believe me that you have just as much right to be at this table with everybody else. I'm right there with you. I'm cheering you so hard, and I'm going to prove how easy this is. And we are building out this calculator next Friday in our Vibe Coding Alchemy Lab. So before I go, I want to just give you a quick like intro into Manus, so that you know what to expect for next week. So this is basically Manus's dashboard. This is what it essentially looks like. I am on the free plan. You can start a free plan with you. I've connected some things. There's massive things that you connect, but this is the main dashboard. Looks like most chats, you end up with, I think, 300 credits. As you can see here, I was transcribing like YouTube videos instead of putting it into my it's Descript, which takes credits every time I have to transcribe a video. This does it for me. I just create the video first, And then if I don't really need to edit it, I can get Manus to essentially scrape it, give me the thing. And it blew my mind after it transcribed it, that it gave me like a guide. Like there's so many other things that it could help me create after I was done with it. So I was just like mind blown, but then I ran out of credits and then I kind of just was like, I don't know if I want to do this, but you see here, I created this entire energy workbook. Let's see if you can still see it. I'm gonna be able to put this out. So you do, just point of reference or like a tip here, when you create documents within any AI language platform, make sure that you do that. Like I'm gonna come back and look at it later. Download it immediately. So when you come into new tasks, you can now create slides. You can build a website. You can develop apps. You can design, and it's like you can do more. So you can always click these buttons. You can schedule a task. You can widen your research if you're doing deep research. You can create spreadsheets. You can create visual like infographics and other visual like elements. You can create videos in here. You can create audio. There's a chat mode, which is what we're in. And then there's a playbook, which would just give you more information. Now, I will point out that they do also have their own agents. And what is an agent? Well, an agent is an AI employee that essentially does something specific for you. You can download it down onto um, your computer and give it a name, a personality. If you would have like, I wish like I would love to work with somebody. It could be like my COO or my whatever's my co-pilot, my BFF in business. And I would love if they had all of these like personality traits, if they would talk to me like this, if they would tell me this every day, or just be compliant or whatever. Like you can create your own like sidekick. You can have it be like a 24/7 cloud assistant that keeps full context and memory. Some people are really afraid of giving AI that much information. Again, I'm not telling you to do this yes or no. You got to trust your own instincts and listen to your own nervous system. I'm just telling you what's available and what's possible. You can create custom skills, like equip your system with expert level skills. This is what I would equivalent to custom GPTs like in ChatGPT, which is what I love to use. And then it works in now Messenger, which I don't know how it would work, but it says it's going to be coming soon. And so right now you can get started in Telegram. I don't really use Telegram. Like I had to download it for some coaching programs, but other than like listening to their messaging when they do challenges and stuff, that's about the extent of me using Telegram. But see how they have the icons of what they're working towards, WhatsApp, Messenger. So I'm like curious to see where this is going to evolve. And now that they've managed to combine forces with Meta, it is not going to be very much longer for it to create stuff like this. These are all the things that I've created and like transcriptions and stuff. And it's going to be amazing. So next week we're going to go and use this develop apps, and I'm going to vibe code in real time so that you can see from ideation all the way to a finished app. And I'm going to give you guys access to the app. I've never built an app in Manus, so I have to see what the limitations, if it's something that I can share. It's going to be all live. I'm going to just be putting on my possibility scarf and we're going to be jamming. I have no idea what's going to happen. I've never done it in this software. And that's the beauty. That's what I want you guys to see is my vulnerability, my like thought process as I go through it. There are going to be some tools that you might not directly have access, but the intent is that you can see and open up your mind to what's possible and see it in real action. So thank you, my love, for spending this time with me. I hope you're doing fantastic. Know that you are doing an amazing job. And as I tell everybody, you are doing the best that you can, my friend, and that is always enough. And if you're not doing your best, awareness is power. Remember, we are not wave makers. We are the wave. Continue to be you. Continue to be beautiful. Continue leading from your heart. I will catch you in the next video.